What's up, fam? Welcome to L.U.S.T. Let Us Speak Truth. Welcome to another episode. I'm your host, Nick. We got the panel on here. We got a new one. We got D in the building. What's up, D?
Delicious.
Yes. Y'all, today we're going to talk about financial literacy and relationships and money.
Okay.
Oh, shit. Okay, so my first question, y'all. When growing up, did anybody teach y'all how to save?
No.
My dad did. You know what? That's one thing he did instill in his children was to save. We got jobs at an early age, so like at 16, we started working. And he always has instilled in us, if you don't have nothing, always save. And my grandfather would say, if you just save a penny a day.
Right. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. My dad as well. My dad taught me savings. And my mom really didn't teach me too much about savings, but I know growing up, I remember my dad really handling a lot of the finances. So, but my dad used to really sit me down and talk about savings. He used to say, save a quarter a day. That's what he used to tell me when I got my first job. He was like, at least save a quarter a day.
Yeah.
So sitting down with my dad really embedded in me a lot of ways to save differently.
What about you, D?
Now as far as like when me and Greg was growing up, no, they didn't teach us about saving, and I wish they would have. But our parents let us be a kid, basically. We didn't know about any financial situations at home. We didn't have to worry about it. They never talked to us about it. I mean, we got what we wanted pretty much. We didn't worry about money. But, in hindsight, I wish they would have, because I would have in turn passed it on to my children. Like now I'm doing it with my grandchildren because I didn't do it with my children. So that's one thing I wish they would have done.
Right. Welcome, Trav. 756-757-260.
What's happening, y'all?
We talking about financial literacy, literacy and relationships and money. So right now we're on the financial literacy portion. So we're talking about when you were younger, did anybody teach you like what savings was, how to save?
Yeah, fortunately, my mom did, and it lasted forever. You know what I'm saying? So like when I was like in the 11th grade, back in the day, she used to write checks. So she would be like, "Hey, this is when this is due. You write it out because you know it's gonna be the power bill. It's gonna be gas. It's gonna be, you know what I'm saying? You need to budget that." And I'm really good with numbers anyway. So it really like it made it really easy for me. So in my adult life, you know what I mean, I've been somewhat successful being able to do those things. It really, really helped. But I know like the other young lady was saying, she said a lot of times parents let you be kids. And I agree with that kind of to a degree, but you need to know about money because it's man, it's imperative that you know in our community, and a lot of times they don't teach us why.
And the sad thing is it wasn't really taught in schools when we were going to school, you know.
Right.
So it was taught in college and stuff like that. So, you know, how I taught my kids, I always said, growing up, put $25 to $50 a check in an account and don't touch it. And yeah, it'll take, some time to build, but that $50 in 5 years, so 16 to what? 21?
Yes.
Because I'm not good at math.
Yeah, 21.
Yeah, I'm not good at adding. So in 21, so in those 5 years, if you did $50, you're gonna have what? 3,000. So that's enough for a down payment or whatever on an apartment, because they always started apartments. At a younger age, you can't afford to just go out and buy. So that's how I taught my kids. And the biggest thing is learn a budget. Learn a budget. Income minus your expenses. And they say 10% tied to the church, 10% tied to yourself first. And God forgive me, but in the Bible, and I don't speak religion normally on the show, but it never says an amount of money. It says giving your goods and services. So if you give 10% to yourself of your finance, and you give clothing, you give shelter, you help somebody in a different way, food, whatever you got to do, you know what I mean? That to me is tithing. When you want to save to build for your future, you got a 10%, 25% tied to yourself. Calculate your savings as a bill. And that's something that I've always told when my kids start working, your savings is a bill. So calculate what you want to put to it and out of sight, out of mind. And always, 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 everybody hear me clear. Never put your savings where your checking is, where your bank, where you take out all your bills in your checking account. Never put a savings out of sight, out of mind. Separate your check. Make a percentage of your check go to an online savings or something. It's like a bill, out of sight, out of mind. Y'all agree?
So let me ask a question. What is better? Is a bank or a credit union better to put your money into?
Credit
Credit
union.
union.
Credit
Credit union.
unions.
And
Mhm.
why is that? Why is that?
You get more
Well-
benefits from a credit union.
Well, usually, yes, it's definitely more benefits for a credit union, but a lot of times is the credit union takes the dividends that's earned by the credit union takes the dividends that's earned, and they're able to offer lower rates on your loans, but higher rates on dividends in your savings and checking accounts. Whereas banks, they usually have more fees and stuff, and their rates are higher as in fees. And what they do is they take those money and the shareholders profit off of it. So a lot of people has transitioned to credit unions because they're really local. Typically, the credit unions are local to the community, and they're easier to open up accounts. They're easier to get loans. And like I said, their fees are typically lower, and they have higher dividends when you're earning, whether if earning on certificate deposits or money markets, savings and checking accounts. The return is different.
They take care of their members overall.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
A bank. They take care of their members. So if you like, I have 2 credit unions, and then I have Wells Fargo. I have 3 bank accounts. Well, actually 4. I have an online savings. I'm not going to tell my business, but I do have an account that goes, out of sight, out of mind. But I do have 2 credit unions because the perks are better. And I will tell you the number one credit union and I don't have them anymore, but the number one credit union is Navy Federal Credit Union. They are the best for their members. They are, especially, I would say worldwide.
Yeah,
Right, but
they
don't
are.
you have to be military to be a part of Navy Federal?
You
No,
have to be military, but you have to know somebody who's military.
no.
Okay.
It could be a family and friends through, it could be anybody, family, anybody that that's friends, but you have to know somebody who knows somebody in the military to get in that Navy Federal.
No.
Yeah. You can't just sign up anymore on Navy Federal.
Right. That's what I know that. But with Navy Federal is you have to have a sponsor. So just like Nick said, you have to know somebody that's already has an account with Navy Federal, and you have to either live with them, work with, you have to be attached to that person or that same address somehow in order to be a member through a friend, or a member that's already, but if you're attached to a service member, then you're offered membership through that service member, but it has to be direct. So it's not just anybody, it has to be
Right.
immediate family.
Yeah.
And then it can branch off based off of, address. Like
Yeah.
if you live with that person.
So I'm gonna use your address so I can get me maybe federal.
That's right. What's your address? Cause yeah.
So here's the thing, y'all. There's 5 key elements of financial literacy. The first one is earn your money, spend, which is all your expenses, save and invest, borrow and protect. Those are the 5 key elements of financial literacy.
Can you repeat those again, Nikki?
Earn, spend, save and invest, borrow and protect.
So when you say spend, what are so I can go out and give me a $200 pair of Jordans? Is that
No.
what you're talking about?
Spend is your expenses.
Okay, got you.
Expenses, whether it's your household, whether it's your break down your budget. And y'all, does everybody know or have a budget?
Oh, definitely.
So what are the key elements of a budget?
There's different ways that you can budget. There's 100 different ways that you can budget. So it really just boils down to what your particular budget is and what your goals are. When you have a goal set, then you can set that budget.
Do you
I know.
Do you include a savings in your budget?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. So I have a monthly budget and I have a yearly budget.
Okay. Okay. And go ahead, Trav. What were you gonna say?
I mean, y'all know how I am. And if you don't make no cake, no money, no cash, no grip, that budget don't mean shit.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so saying that sounds good. You got to earn some income to save anything. So a lot of times we do things backwards. You wish for the best. You know what I'm saying? And that's not really the way you create a budget. You have to be direct and hard with that number, whatever that number is. So I'm gonna give you a hard number. If you've got, it's simple. If you break in more than you putting back out, you're gonna be able to save the extra cream on top to get to where you're going. And if you don't, you're gonna be in a deficit the entire time. So a simple budget is to say, hey man, I ain't going to the mall, I ain't going to the restaurant. I'm gonna sit my ass at the crib.
Right.
I'm gonna make a baked potato and I'm gonna cook some chicken and I'm gonna chill. And if you sacrifice that long term, you take that extra cheese and you save, you invest, you don't get high risk credit cards, you understand how buying a car works, you understand the elements of a mortgage, and you put that to long term use. And once you do it for 1 year, you take that same thing and you do it for 10 more years. That's how them old people were straight.
Mm-hmm.
Stay out them goddamn malls.
Yeah.
That's the way you do it.
You're right.
Well, when I was working for the credit card company, I noticed what they did was they went for college students to apply for these high credit cards, and they were jumping on those things, but the kids couldn't pay them back.
Of course they couldn't. That's why they target them. They target them because they know they can't pay it back, and what they'll do is put them in what you call it, where you what word am I trying to think of? Huh?
A high risk?
Yeah. Well, it's high risk anyway, and they know it, but they know that they're going to default. And when they default, that's when they can charge them 3 times, 4 times what they actually owe. So they target them so that they can do it that way. They know they're going to default. You're in college, you're broke.
Not to mention, they know that that's bad debt that they can write off on their taxes. So it doesn't matter. They're gonna win regardless. So let's say they give you a car for 500. You run it up. You beg your aunt or your mom to help you pay the first month. You pay the $15. You forget the next month. Now that $15 is $45. And it flips over again. You default on it, man. I ain't gonna even worry about it. I'll straighten that out later. So now you out of college and you already got bad credit. And you owe a university, which on another note, but you owe a university $80,000 and you get a $40,000 job, which is the most ridiculous thing on earth anyway. But that's the game. So down the road, you already behind the 8 ball.
Mhm.
So now you back home. Now that $500 credit card that you ran up is gonna cost you 1,500 to get straightened out,
Mhm.
and 2 years,
Yep.
2 or 3 years to get back on track. Now you
Right.
26 years old. It's a racket.
Now, speaking of credit cards, y'all know the key of paying on credit cards to keep your score going higher? You know the key element of that?
No, I don't.
The key element of that is pay your minimum due or above your minimum due
Every
on
month,
the
on
sta-
time.
on the statement date, not the due date, the statement date.
So where would they find that at? Like when you get your bill?
It's in the
So
body of the bill.
in the body of the bill. So you'll look and it'll say statement date September 25th and the due date is October 10th.
Got you.
Pay it on or pay it before the statement date clears. That's what boosts your credit.
And it's also the amount that you use. So if you, I like round numbers. Let's say you got a $10,000 credit card. Try to keep that under no more than $3,000 at all times.
Yep.
Because you're not using
30%.
30%. Yeah.
30%.
That's
You keep
another thing is a good rule of thumb too is there's no sense of having a $3,000 credit card or a $5,000 credit card if you can't afford to pay it back. So if you have a credit card that is $20,000, but you know if you spend $20,000 on it, you can't pay that back. Because you can pay on interest, you can pay on that credit card for years and years and years and years, and you'll be
Never pay
paying
the
back.
balance.
You'll be paying triple, quadruple the amount that's actually owed on the card. So say if you know for a fact that you got $500 and you can pay this $500 off, I wouldn't put more than $500 on your credit card because you know you can keep that balance under control by making that statement date payment or the balance or the statement balance on the statement date, and that will continue to rise your credit score up. But I think it's a good rule of thumb is you can keep your credit card under that 30%, but if you can't pay back 30% of that credit card, there's no sense of you even using that amount. You're putting yourself in a vicious cycle.
Yep.
Another rule of thumb, do not ever close your credit cards. Don't close them. You can cut them up and don't ever use them, but never close them. Go ahead, Trav.
to bounce off what she said a little bit. A lot of this stuff, which is so unfortunate, is this stuff should be taught when you're a kid.
Mm-hmm.
That's the unfortunate part because when we're older now and you're like, man, these things should have been taught 20 years ago. It should be a class in high school. Money should.
Right.
Finance, again, how a mortgage works, how you buy a car. Why does it take 30 years to pay off this and it takes 6 years to pay off a car? That doesn't make sense, or 7 years or 5 years. You have to find out how this works. But back to what you said about that credit card. Well, when you get older and you understand how the game works, I'll give you a fine example of something I do. I have a particular credit card and it's got a $37,000 limit on it.
Mhm.
So I use everything that I do, gas, food, all of my bills. And at the end of the month, I get a chunk back in cash back. Well, I take that and I move that to savings. So for my day-to-day activities that I do, everything, I'll take that money and I'll move it over to my savings. Or if I'm doing something, I get it back. These are tools that you can use once you get your platform set up.
Mhm.
Then you can do those things. But like you said, I'm just giving that on the other side. Sometimes having a big limit helps you because you can live like that. But that's once you've got the whole thing set up. You're not going to have that situation where you're straight out the gate.
Yeah, I was gonna say you gotta have that set up and you have to have a system because if you're not familiar with it, one wrong move is gonna jack you up. So if you don't have your system down pat, then it's no sense in even going down that road because it's gonna end in disaster, you know.
That is true.
So
That is
let me
Right.
ask another question though, too. I got a 15-year-old daughter, okay? And people are not carrying cash these days.
Mhm.
They are using credit cards. This is what our society is turning into.
Mhm.
So what credit card would you suggest that I get my daughter, or when she started working? Go ahead, Travis.
I would say if you want to keep it safe and give her old school principles, so she's gonna succeed. That old school shit is gonna be slow. That's the only thing about the youth. They're not gonna like it because it's gonna be slow. It ain't by the foot, it's by the inch, but you'll get where you're going. I would say a kid her age, I wouldn't do anything other than a Cash App card or something like that. Me personally, I wouldn't let her get in trouble. So when it runs out, and it wouldn't reflect back on her. I would never put them in a position to make grown-up decisions
Mm.
at 15, 16, because my oldest daughter is 17. She's got a Cash App, looks like a little Visa thing, and she uses it everywhere she goes. If she gets her nails done or whatever, I just wouldn't put them in that situation until they have the necessary tools. I'd be afraid to put them in
And not
I
even
totally
not just
agree.
a Cash App. I would like for kids under 18, I would do the prepaid cards.
same
Got
thing.
That's same thing.
Same type of situation. But I
So
just don't.
there's two ways that you can go about this, Tanya, as well. So my thing on it is you can get her a debit card just to link to her checking account. And then that way you teach her how to budget. But there's another thing is, if you want her to have a credit card and if you want her to build her credit, you can add her on your credit card as an authorized user, and you can put a limit on her portion of it. So if you want her limit only to be $100, some institutions do $500 increments, some institutions do $100 increments. But if you want her to have just a $100 budget on her credit card, you could do it that way too. So you can add her as an authorized user. And when you do that, you're boosting her credit by bouncing off of yours. And then she just makes her a monthly payment to her credit card. And like I said, you can give her a limit. Otherwise, she could do just do a debit card for her checking account. And a lot of institutions have teen checking where they don't have no fees, they don't have a minimum balance requirement, they don't have nothing. It's just a basic checking account.
And look into a credit union for that, because they get perks for that. They get perks on that. The teens.
Well, me personally, I will start out with like what he said, a Cash App card, because I need to see how you're gonna move when we get this started.
Right.
And when they get a card like that, I understand you can put a limit on it, but you don't know how it's gonna work out. So I need to keep adding money to your Cash App card until you show me that you can be responsible with what I'm giving you. And then we can go from there. If I put $200 on your card and then by the end of the day, you done went balled out, and ate and did all that and you have nothing, then we're not there yet to be talking about a credit card or putting you on as an authorized user on my account. No, we're not there yet. So I would build her up to that. That's not a bad idea, but I would build her up to that.
What I did with my oldest daughter is I put her on my credit card as an authorized user, but I never gave her the card. And her credit score skyrocketed.
That's different. Yeah, that's different.
Go ahead, Trav.
The reason I say that, ladies, is because it is. Y'all always, you're like, where you come with these stats? In our community, women hold more consumer debt. Period.
What percentage?
So you all hold more consumer debt. So for me having daughters, I'm trying to get them to understand the cash and carry concept. That keeps you out of trouble.
Yeah.
When I go pay for something, I'm paying for it, and it's a wrap. Like I said, my system is a little bit different because I'm older and I've established it. I write a check for everything that I spend at the end of the month, everything. But if you don't know how that goes, and at her age, I watch her. She'll go to a store or a mall, and she through by in a day. She's done. She done spent everything, and I'm looking at her like, she's like, Dad, fill my tank up. So I'm saying she's not ready to be given that.
Yeah.
She will do something completely off the Richter scale and expect me to fix it.
And that's the thing.
That's what I was saying.
Listen, don't just do a budget as an adult. Do a budget for your children.
Yep, I do.
So a budget for your child can be, you want video games apps, whatever, this much. You want clothes, that's this much. You want to go to the mall, that's this much. Set up a budget. Okay, but in order for you to earn that money, okay, this is how much you earn. So again, you earn it, then you spend, that's that budget. Then you teach them, okay, well, in order for you to have more the next month, you got to save this much. So let's just say, I mean, you got to just kind of drill it in them to get to know how it is, because you
With a
don't,
young lady?
huh?
With a young lady?
Yeah, so I have 3 girls, and I've budgeted and I've helped my daughter. She'll be 19, she'll be 20, budget all of her money. I've sat
How much
down
it
with
cost to get
her.
her hair done?
I'm sorry.
How much is that? How much does it cost to get her hair done?
When she gets it done,
Mhm.
she pays probably $80.
What is that? That's just a regular.
Those are for her braids out here in Jacksonville.
$80?
That's how much her braid lady charges. Yeah.
Wow, that's some good stuff there.
That's why she's gonna keep her. So, like, so I sit her down, but see, like I said, with her, she's in college, so she has to pay her. She doesn't get she doesn't qualify for her full ride anymore because she she transferred to a different college because the college that she was at dropped her major. But because of that, she has to pay some of her her tuition. With that, we sat down and we created a budget for that. But she also has to pay her car insurance. She also has to pay some of her cell phone bill. She works. So she works. She's not a full-time because she's a full-time college student. So I would say she puts in about 30 hours a week. So she works. So we sit down with her check and we budget her check and we make sure that her bills are paid, and then she gets her portion of getting her hair done, or if she's getting her nails done, or if she's going out for entertainment. So what I've taught her and my other daughters is she has an account for entertainment and going out, and then she has an account for her bills, and then she has an account for what's her last? Oh, her savings.
Yeah.
But with her savings, what she does is she breaks those down. So I made her open up 2 certificate of deposits and a money market. And I taught her what those dividends are. This is liquid, so you can pull if you need it for emergency funds, if your car breaks down or whatnot. That's probably a separate account. And then this money in the certificate of deposit, you can't touch. It's locked in that account for 12 months, 6 months, or whatever. So this is what I taught my oldest daughter. Now my 12-year-old, she doesn't have a job, so she gets allowance, but all her extra money goes to Fortnite cards. So this is what we do for her allowance.
Look, her and Ronell.
Yeah. So
like,
if she does her chores for a week with no attitude, she gets $20. If she does her chores all week, but she slacks off, she has an attitude or whatever, she gets docked. So I think one week she may have got $7, if that. There's some weeks she didn't get nothing. But what happens is we take that and she's like, well, the first thing she wants to buy, I already know what's in her budget. It's Fortnite card.
Right.
So, okay, well, do you have enough to get this Fortnite card and still have enough to put in your piggy bank? What my girls don't know is that when I get paid, I transfer money to their personal accounts because they have accounts. And I've been building their accounts since they've been babies.
They know it now.
No, they don't know, but they will if they come across this.
They all subscribed.
Are you serious?
Yes. Y'all know now. Hey, love you. Okay, y'all. So there, like I said, there's so many different elements of financial literacy. We got to make a part 2 for this, but we're going to go into relationships and money. So a scenario, if you were either married or you have a significant other that you live with, how do y'all put your finances together, or do you, and create expenses and savings? Go ahead, Trav. Shit,
Um,
I don't know if I want to call on you yet.
nah, it's cool. It's real cool. Okay, so like I said, I like round numbers. So let's just say you have some debt, I have some debt, whatever it is, but we make X amount of dollars together,
Mhm,
and we live together. We doing life. We sitting on the same toilets. We eating out of the same refrigerator.
mhm.
Why in the hell would we not take all that money that we make together and make this go?
Okay.
That's my question. So I give women a hard time. I do. And you know how I am. But on the flip side of that, I give dudes a hard time. That don't make sense. If we doing this together, why don't we take your $2 and my $2 and make it into $40? It's simple.
Right.
That causes a lot, that takes a lot of confusion out of the relationship altogether.
So on that note, I don't mean to cut you off, Trav, but on
Now
that
you
note,
good.
ladies, how do you feel if you were married or if you're in a relationship with somebody and let's say you make triple digits and they make 50,000, would you make it in one pot and do a budget together and build that way? Or would you say, nah, I'll put whatever I'm making, that percentage that you're making, I'll put that together. Like how do you guys think about that? How do you think about budgeting with your loved one?
Well, mine is going to go into a pot.
Mm-hmm.
Because if we're doing things individually, we're not a couple. If
Right.
we want to build together, then we put all of it on the table. You know what I mean? But I also, too, I've had experience with my ex-husband where men are just not very good budgeters. And so I always had a problem with stuff bouncing,
Not always, Trav, 80-20. Go ahead.
80-20 Trav, 80-20. So, so it teaches you a lot, but again, to answer your question, mine will go into the pot with my significant other.
And what would you say, D?
Yeah, I would say the same thing. Mine would go into, however, if ours are going to go together, then we're going to have to be on the same page as far as making decisions when it comes to spending money,
Right. Right.
and you're not going to go out and live the life of Riley with our money that we put in the pot together. It's going to have to be some talks, and we're going to have to be on the same page before we make any decisions.
D, let me ask you a question. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, so let's say me and you was doing this thing. We live in life. And let's say let's say you brought in 7,000, I brought in 7,000. Or whatever the number. I brought in 10,000 and you brought in 3,000, but I told you, hey, I got you. You will be concerned about what I spend.
If we put ours in a pot together, whether I have one and you have three, or I have five and you have seven, and you have two and I have four, if we're putting it together, then yes, we need to be on one accord when it comes to spending. Just because you put in more than me doesn't give you the right
That's
to
not what
go
I'm
out.
saying. That's not what I'm saying.
Okay, what
I'm
you saying?
I'm cool. I'm cool with that. If you
Okay.
want something, I got you. I'm a little bit different when it comes to whatever. I don't want you to have to worry about nothing. No tires for no car. I said this before, no health insurance. I don't want you to worry about none of that.
That's
But if
built
you
though.
no. I'm talking about bills, home, the mechanics, the financial mechanics of our home, our house. I don't want you to worry about none of that. But if you look out in the front yard and there's a new Corvette outside and it ain't got nothing, it ain't throwing off nothing in the house, that don't make sense for you to come in and say that thing that a lot of women do. What did you doing? That won't work for me.
I wouldn't care about you having a Corvette. At the end of the day, it still needs to be talked about. If something went down and you lost your income and I was responsible for every bill in the house for whatever reason, then that would be an expense that I would have to take on,
You ain't
which
gonna
means
never be
it's something that
responsible with a soul.
That's 80-20, Trav. We're talking about
you don't know that. You don't know
I'm talking
that.
about the type of men. I'm talking about the type of men that I deal with.
68-32.
I
You
get
never
what
know
you're
what may
saying, Trav,
happen in
but
life.
what I do think is
Say what
that
she said.
I said, you never know what may happen in life. It's nice, and I don't care about you getting a Corvette if we talk about it. But if something were to happen, say you went to work and got injured and was off and didn't have income, and I was the sole provider for the
I go get a ski
household,
mask.
huh?
I go get a ski mask.
No, whatever.
Okay, so what I'm trying to say,
Then
what
I really be the soul because now I gotta put more.
now she by
No,
herself.
what I'm saying is,
What
what I'm
is
You
that
saying
done
is,
dropped your
opinion?
ID where you done
By-
found somewhere to
D, by
sleep
any
at.
means necessary is what I'm saying. The
I
men that
hear
I'm talking about, by any means necessary.
No, Chad,
What I'm
she put it on point though. Like if you had an injury at your job,
I
you
think like that though. I think like that as well.
and I be doggone if I'ma say this Negro done hurt himself and he's sitting here eating cornflakes and watching Jerry all day, not paying no bills, and got a Corvette out here that I gotta pay for, and I gotta go to work every day. Now I done had to get another part-time job to pay for this. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I hear you. What all I want to say is that when you're in a relationship, this is what I learned when I think back is when you're in a relationship or when you're in a marriage and both parties are working, both parties should be contributing to the same one account. But that's not to say that you should not have your own account as well. And what I mean by that is me being a woman, just like Travis said earlier, how much does your nails cost? How much does your hair cost? And stuff like that. That can be put in a separate account. It doesn't have to come out of your bills or whatever, or household or maintenance or anything. But what I honestly think is there should be a pot that you're sharing and that the account should be discussed.
Mhm.
But me as a woman should have my own individual account, and you as the man should have their own individual account. Not to say you're hiding money, not to say that, because the other person can be authorized. You can show the other person, and not to say anything like that. But what I'm saying is I honestly think that there should be a pot for you as the household, and there should be a pot for me and a pot for him.
Here's my stance on that. Hold on, Trav. Here's my stance on that. Y'all throw all, if you're married or in a live-in situation, throw all your money in a pot, calculate the bills, pay all the bills, whatever's left over. And mind you, your bills are a savings. Your 10%, 25%, whatever is a bill. So you put that into a savings. Whatever's left over, let's say you have not 7,000. Let me take that back. Let me say you have $2,000 left over a month, right? And let's say you have a house account. So that house account needs to be funded as well. So if anything goes wrong in this house, right? So you, of that 2,000, you put, let's say 1,000 in that house account. And mind you, all this stuff rolls over. So you each have $500 left over, right? So that 500 goes to you, that 500 goes to you. If you want to open a savings account or open a separate account with your own money each month, that's your accounts. So, but you guys agree on everything. You guys,
Yeah,
the money
it
in
has to
the
be
pot,
agreeable.
pay the bills, you have the separation of whatever, and you each have an amount from that pot. Go ahead, Trav.
Okay, so again, I've been programmed protect and provide, and it goes back financially, and it goes back financially. So I like what y'all saying, but we're gonna have 6 months of whatever it costs to run our household in the bank that we live out of. Period.
That
So
should
let's
be the start. That should be the start, though.
Yeah.
yeah, that's the start. We're gonna have 6 months of that in an account. But when she was just like, but men have been programmed, the men I know, to share their income. So if you're sharing your income, that you're putting that there. And that goes back to a lot of times you've heard women say, his money is my money is my money. And I totally disagree with that.
I disagree with that too.
But you've heard that before though. You've heard that
Yeah, I've
ridiculous
heard it, but I disagree with it.
again. So if we're in this, I'm gonna push all my chips to the middle of the table, and I'm gonna expect you to do the same thing, even if you make 50% less than I do. We got each other. We got
Exactly.
each other. So why on God's green earth would I be in a situation? You don't want to be in a situation. Not that I make millions, but I make good income. you don't want to be in a situation where we have separate accounts because, like you said, now it won't go from, babe, it's a Corvette in the garage. It'll go from, well, look, I do what I want to do. You can't say shit about it. Now you really not gonna want to deal with a guy like me because you're gonna feel like he doing whatever the hell he want to do. That's not a good look. And now you don't feel like we're in a relationship. You feel like I'm doing whatever I want to do. That ain't good. That's not good for any woman. What a dude that's like that. That's not good for her.
Well, I mean, I think at that point trust comes in with that. Like you have to be able to trust that person with the money as well. I mean, I was once told, go ahead, Nick.
Nah, go ahead. Nah, say what you was told.
Okay, look, I'm gonna cut her off there. So what I will say
Please.
is, what if you have this scenario and you both put in the pot, right? And you agree to this, right? And then all of a sudden you get in this huge fight, and all of a sudden that person swipes your money.
You know,
They
that
only
has
have one
been,
time to
that
swipe
has
money
been known,
because at that point,
Don't speak at once. Hold on. Hold
that
on.
has been known to happen, you know, in relationships. You know, the thing about it is that anybody that gives one person full control over their money is that's not a good thing, and they're not thinking, because marriages break up every day, relationships break up every day, and each person need to have some type of control and education about their account
So
together.
my point of that, require 2 signatures to
Exactly.
Yes.
That's what I was just gonna say.
always require 2 signatures to withdraw any amount of money. Now, what if this person goes to the ATM machine and withdraws? Let's say your limit is $600. They go 1 week, and let's say that you're trusting each other, so you don't check the account all the time. So you're going to the ATM, you're withdrawing 600. The next day you go withdraw 600. The next day you go withdraw multiple times up until you go to pay bills and you notice, like, damn, 600, 600, 600, 600, 600 for 2 weeks.
But
Notifications.
Nick,
I get a notification. You
Nick,
take something, I'm gonna know about it. I mean, we shouldn't even have to be there, but if for some reason we go there, notifications.
Both of you turn on notifications. Go ahead, Trav.
What kind of sucker dude would go and drain your bank account?
Oh, they do it.
they
Trav,
definitely do.
listen, okay, you want me to give you a scenario?
Yes.
So a man and a woman are together and they're happy and a bliss and they're sharing their finances. Everything is a bliss. Then all of a sudden the man cheats and the woman finds out, and the woman is distraught and she's pissed off because, damn it, my man cheated and fuck him, and I'm going to do whatever I can to hurt him. So I'm going to ATM. That happened. Okay.
That happened. Oh.
So I'm going to go to the ATM and I'm pull out, because I know that my man is so financially stable and he is so on this that this is the way to hurt him. It's not about cheating back. It's about hitting him in the pockets. And that's that's a lot of people, a lot of women will do that to men who do this kind of thing.
I could tell you it was so slick. Like, she was smooth with it. I was at work and something said, check your bank account. God real. And she took 26K out.
How you take that much? Wait, how?
She got she got like 10 in cash, and then the other 16 was in cashier's checks. And here's the thing, we've been together so long, it was only one signature on the account. So I never thought that she would do it. So, you know what I'm saying? Ever. That's just but here go the thing though. Here go the thing. You know, and I'm gonna say this. I'm a gorilla, so I really don't give a fuck. I'm gonna get it back. That's how I feel. But I know a lot of people would nut up. They do something stupid, go hurt somebody. I ain't gonna do that. Like, I mean, I'm gonna go back to work. Like, you know what I'm saying? That's just how I feel about it.
But
I taught you a valuable lesson, I'm sure.
At the end of the day, y'all, we could love, harmoniously be in love, marriage, and it could snap like that for unknown reasons. It could just snap. make sure if you have joint accounts, notifications, turn on all notifications. 2 signature required to withdraw any amount of money. If they go to the
Yeah.
ATM, they're
Yeah.
going to get, both parties are going to get that notification.
Mhm.
I've been working at a bank for a long time. I won't say how many years, because I'm not going to tell my age.
But if you a dude and you've been sleeping with this lady and y'all been intimate and she didn't help you out and y'all got kids together or y'all don't have kids together, if she don't want to be with you no more, you go drain her bank account. You more than a sucker. You more than a sucker. That's weak, bro. If you a man, you stand on your own 10 toes. Why would you go take her money because she don't want to be with you or she slept with somebody else? Those things don't resonate with me. I don't understand. So when y'all say that, it's like trying to make me concrete. It don't make sense.
Well, this
Real
is
men,
my thing. If she's not feeling you like that and she's going to do whatever and she know you're on her bank account, she need to go handle her business and take you off before it goes there. If she knows things are about to go awry for whatever reason, she needs to go to that bank and handle her business so you won't even have the option to even
well,
go and do that.
you can't take a person off like that. They have to sign. If you put them
Yeah.
on, you can't just go in there and take them off. That's why if you my lady, I ain't gonna never go through all that. If you take something from me after the way I perform in a relationship, then you know what? That's crazy. That's crazy. I don't get that.
Mm.
Well, unfortunately, the thing about it is that these are conversations that needs to be held even today because
Mhm.
couples are still doing that.
Mhm.
Somebody get mad and what they go do, they withdraw all the money out. So, everybody's not a man or everybody's not a one man that acts, you know what I'm saying? That acts accordingly and will do what you would do. But some people for revenge, and when they hurt people, hurt people.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Well, I would say to the people out there watching this podcast, um, if you get a dude that's crazy about his bread like that, which I am, but I'm reasonable too. Um, be careful, ladies. Don't go take his money out of his bank account because he might go hold your mama hostage or something. You don't know. You better
Oh
be careful.
Lord Jesus.
I go extreme because there's some extreme dudes out there. You
Over their
don't.
money, yeah.
I'm serious. There's some cats out there that don't play the radio.
Oh yeah.
I gotta and quickly. I gotta. My mother's friend. They're really cool. She asked for some money to go on I think like a girls trip. This is a long time ago, and he was like, "Nah." Well, she went and got 5 bands out of the bank account and went. And as soon as she got back, he had divorce papers waiting on her. He didn't even give her the opportunity to say, "I'm sorry, I won't do it no more." None of that. He handed it to her when she got back. Enjoy your trip. So it's some guys that are different, and there's some women that don't play about their money as well. It ain't just that ain't a gender thing. It's some people that don't play the radio about that.
I think a lot of time people are money hungry and they don't know how to act when they have it.
Well, they always say money is the root of all evil. It's not the money, it's the person that's behind the money.
True.
100%.
I
Well,
agree.
at the end of the day, you need to quit playing with people's money. Point blank. Period.
Exactly.
Don't
I
play
agree.
with people's money.
Nobody's. Nobody.
Nobody.
Oh,
It's
but
people that will kill your whole family over $20. So you can't
Yes.
play with people's
Y'all,
money.
y'all remember the movie where the little boy was delivering the papers back in the day, and he kept telling dude, "Man, I want my $2. I want my $2." He was riding a bike. There's some people that do something, they'll get you for $2. Like give them their bread. You
Yeah.
don't play. Don't play at all.
Yeah.
there
Like
are,
somebody
there are a
you
lot
over-
of Debos out here.
Oh yeah.
Right.
There are a lot of Debos.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah, for sure.
Rest your soul.
Yeah. So one more question, one last question. Investing. If you're married and let's say one person knows about investing and the other one doesn't, but you guys have, let's say, $90,000 that you want to invest. Are you going to trust your mate who knows about investing, or are you going to be skeptical, fearing that you're going to lose that money overall?
I think it depends on the risk, and I think it depends on the relationship, because in order to risk that amount of money, you have to have a lot of trust in that person. But you have some people that are not willing to gamble or take the risk so that it won't happen. And then you have other people that are like, hey, it don't even have to be the whole 90. Let's just do 45. And so we can save the other 45 and then take. So it just all depends on the relationship, and it all depends on the risk.
Okay. Go ahead, Trav.
That I'm glad you asked that question, because people that tend to work 9 to 5s, if they got 90,000, it's different mindsets between an entrepreneur and somebody else. So if you got a person, let's say the man is a 9 to 5 guy that does well, and the woman is the entrepreneur, and that 90 is sitting. That 90 is man or woman, the entrepreneur. That 90 is going to be sitting there burning in their head. I need to go do something with this 90. That person that makes $130,000 or $150,000 has got 90 sitting. When he comes home, he feels comfortable because I know I got a cushion on my back, and I ain't got to worry about if a hot water heater go out, if we need a new roof, if I need tires, if we want to go on vacation, if somebody needs braces. I can handle the whole gamut. I got it right now. But that entrepreneur, he's going to be saying, I can take that 90 and turn it into 900. And that 9 to 5 is going to be saying, please leave me alone. We are paid.
Right.
That's the difference. The trust is, now if you got two people that are working, that 90,000, it's going to be slow growth. It's going to be hard to let that person do that, because you're saying you're taking away that 9 to 5 person's comfortability.
Ability.
Travis, I agree with you 100%.
If we sit down and talk about it, and it's something that would be beneficial, I mean, I'm not trying to say you got to have a whole thing where you got to sell me on it, but we have to come to an agreement together that this is something that will benefit us. And you can't be an entrepreneur, entrepreneur as they call it, where you're an entrepreneur, but you ain't bringing nothing in, but you got all these, baby, I could turn $2 into $200, all that little get rich quick stuff. That's not going to work for me. When you bring it to me and we talk about it, I got to see, you know what I'm saying? I got to see in my mind that, oh yeah, he's on the right page. We could probably do that. But if you come up with something harebrained, something,
right.
No.
D, I challenge you to do one thing. Just when you got your phone, find out how many people have $10,000 in their bank account. Then find out how many people, just look at the stats. Then look at how many people got 50, 20, just keep going up. When you get over to like 90 and 100 grand outside of people, a lot of people don't have that type of cash.
Oh, I understand.
So for a person to come to you with something that ain't concrete, I mean, I ain't gonna say concrete, educatedly put together.
It's a no.
The answer is hell no.
It's a no. It's a no.
Hell
and that's what I mean when I say we got to talk about it. But you better come with facts. You better come with statistics. You better come with some kind of game plan to assure me that it's going to be a good goal. Otherwise, no.
You start
because
talking about an ice cream truck and all that shit.
Oh,
hell
no.
Hell no.
Let me ask a question. Let me ask a question.
Go ahead.
When is enough enough? Y'all remember that movie with Taraji P played in, and her husband she was married to was it was some type of invention that he believed into. Was it macaroni?
Acrimony.
Yeah, acrimony. And so when is enough enough? And so she supported her husband and she believed in her husband for so long. And then eventually she was like, forget it. You're spending all of our money. You don't have a job, yada, 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 yada. But then in the end, he ended up, making his invention blossom. So my thing is, when is enough enough?
So remember in that movie, she invested a lot and she sacrificed a lot. And then she invested a lot in him and she sacrificed a lot because of him. So when it was all said and done, she felt like she was owed that time, even though she was done with the relationship. I think she was just fed up. But he tried to pay. Remember in the movie, he tried to pay her. He
He
tried to
gave her
give
some money
her.
back. He went
Yeah,
and
he
bought her
tried to give
house back.
her.
He tr-
And he gave her like
He bought
5
her.
or 6. Yeah.
He bought her house back, and then he gave her like $1 million, and she
Like
ripped that check up.
like 5 million.
Yeah, and
Yep.
she ripped the check up because she no longer wanted the money; she wanted the lifestyle. Remember, all of the things that he promised her that she wanted, he now had, and she was giving it to somebody else because she had at that time given up on him.
Yeah.
So
I-
he got the yacht that he wanted, he got the house that looked over all of those things. Hey, Tony.
the whole point was she wanted the lifestyle
She
that
wanted the lifestyle.
I
she
got that. But
she
my question
molded
is,
that man into being somebody that she wanted, and then he did it with another woman.
Somebody
right,
else.
but my question is, I got that part. When is enough enough?
Enough
That's what I'm
cash or enough believing?
And that's who?
Enough cash or enough believing?
I'm like enough believing. You know what I'm saying? Because she invested so much and she believed in her man.
But at that time, she probably should have got the hell on though.
Yeah,
I ain't
It's
gonna
not
lie.
that.
I done watched the movie about 3 times. I ain't gonna say I would have held on. I would have got the hell on.
I
Shit.
agree. She would have
She
been
should
gone.
have, but she
Let me-
wanted the lifestyle.
Let,
Yeah.
let me hip Tony to everything. Hey Tony,
Hey, Tone.
we talked about the first 30 minutes. We talked about financial literacy. Now we're on relationships and money. So we're talking about Acrimony, that movie. So
I never seen the movie. You gotta, pick me up to what the movie is about.
she took care of a man, and she gave all her funds and helped him find. He believed in this one thing, and he just knew he was gonna. Was it what was it that he was?
It was some type of invention.
Some type of
Yeah.
invention that, and she kept investing, and then she left him because she was tired. She went broke. So at the end of the day, he made the investment. He got rich, and then got with another woman.
So I'm gonna say this: the number one cause of divorce nowadays is money, finances. So that right there is something that's always going to happen. And it's always has happened for however amount long they've been keeping a record of, divorces and the reason why people get divorced. And then after that, I would say that, I always talk about compatibility, right? So when you're getting to know somebody and you start having that conversation about financial literacy and what they know about money and their mindset of money, and do they feel like they should work for their money or they feel like their money should work for them? If you have that conversation, and then you'll know where that person's mindset is at when it comes to that. You see what I'm saying? And
Right.
if it's not on that same page, but you continue to, you know, pursue the situation and it goes in the wrong direction, you can't really be upset about that because you talked to this person, whether it be your mindset as far as financial literacy and being more educated or them being more educated on it, and they want to bring you up, because it doesn't always, it's sometimes it's the man and the woman, or sometimes the woman and the man, and sometimes the man could be, hey, I want us to do this in our relationship as far as finances, or the woman, I want us to do this as far as finances in the relationship. I
Right.
want us to be able to be in that position where we're financially free and we're able to do what we want to do, because the word or the expression of financial, not financial, but generational wealth means something to you.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? But it goes a whole lot deeper. But I'll just go with that, as far as that part of it.
Go
But
ahead.
had you not been late, then you could have picked up on everything, because we done said a whole bunch of stuff. And for this to be your topic, sir, nice to meet you. I'm D. Watson. For
Tony
this to be your topic, you're late. So
Greg's
you come
sister.
in talking about generational wealth and this and that and yada. I hear you, but you're late for your own topic.
Happy birthday to me, Miss D. Pleased to meet you, Miss Watson.
Hi.
Go ahead, Trev.
I see you ain't got no problem with coming in and giving your mindset. I respect that.
Go ahead. Go ahead, Trev.
My biggest thing, I would say this, men and women, if you have somebody that is financially irresponsible or financially stingy in your relationship, get out of that immediately. Don't even go no further. Don't go another further. Get out of the restaurant when you talk to him or her, and get in the Uber and tell him to drive away as fast as possible. Don't even
This
look
is,
back. Don't ever. I'm being serious.
What if they
but
can't
this is
afford it? They need you
this
to.
is where the problem lies. The problem lies in the fact that you know you're unequally yoked financially, but
Right.
you want a man so bad or a woman so bad to where you put that on the back
Yes.
burner just to say you got somebody. Now you hear whining about what they did and what they didn't do. You knew when you're grown, you know something when you see it, when you hear it, when you smell it.
D, if me and you sitting together and you say, baby, the hot water heater busted, and I hunch my shoulders like this, you need to get up and take off running and knock glasses down, tables, get the hell out the restaurant, because he ain't gonna help.
No,
And
let me tell you, when I
crazy.
tell you that my tire is low and you don't say, do I need to get you some air in it? Do you need another tire? Do I need to get you home safely? If I say something as simple as my tire is low, if you don't act on it,
well,
you
D,
won't
now,
ever
D,
you won't
D,
talk to me
D,
again.
D, can't do that now because
Yes,
my
I can.
request. Okay, I'm glad you said that. You stepped in that now. You know you stepped in that, right?
I didn't step
Okay.
in nothing. That's
No,
that's
yeah, you did. Now
you.
you ready for me? Let me give you
I'm
something.
ready. Bring it on.
All right. And if I ever reach over in the middle of the night and I tell you this sword needs shaving and sharpening, what you gonna do?
If I'm in
Right.
a bed with you, and that's my responsibility to shave that sword, and I'm gonna do it. But I'm talking
what I'm
about
talking about.
early on when I meet you at a restaurant and we're getting to know each other, and I say something simple as my tire is low, and you don't react
At that time,
or be
I'm
attentive
gonna
to
do.
what I'm saying.
I'm
Then
gonna
no.
do it out of courtesy. I'm gonna do that out of courtesy when I meet you because I want you to get home safe.
That's that 6832. Go ahead, Tony.
So what happens when you let something like the physical attraction, or you let something like the intimacy that's so great and off the chain kind of blur your vision of what you really want and what you really need, because these other things, it don't make it seem like it's not possible, because it happens. It happens with everybody. It's happening with
Every
me.
day.
Yeah, I'm
day.
shaking my head, but I'm saying I've been down that road a long time ago, and baby, no. When you get to a certain age, you know that don't move
So what
you.
you're speaking on, we're speaking on wisdom, but understand that there's some people that are going to be watching this podcast are a little bit younger. So you need to pass that knowledge on to these younger people that are going to be listening and say, you know what, when you're younger, you might let that stuff cloud your vision. But as a person that's older and has wisdom and has
Tony B.
Each one.
Yes.
Yes,
Tony B.
pass that knowledge on. That's what I'm saying.
Yes.
Tony B. Tony B, that shit sound good, what you just saying. But Miss D, if a bedroom bandit coming in and shaking, tear the whole walls off and tear stuff down, she talking that good shit right now. She don't know what she'll do.
But let's say this, Trav, let's say this. If we put it out there.
Oh, no. Hold on. I gotta stop you right there.
Even though all that is true, that seed has been planted. So they can say in the back of their mind, damn, that's what D was talking about. Even though I'm lost and I'm feeling like I need to keep going further in this situation, I heard this before. I've heard somebody say that this is not a good situation for me. And that's all I'm saying. Let's just at least put that out there so they can have the option of thinking about.
Yeah. Don't let anything or anyone cloud your judgment. Yeah, don't let nothing cloud your judgment.
Good sex can steal 24 months.
That has nothing to do with it.
You know what? Wait a minute. You know what? Travis is right when you have that young mentality. However, we're grown ass women. We got wisdom.
Y'all are. It's a lot of 45-year-old women lost as hell.
So listen, y'all.
Right. Which is the reason why Tony said, make sure you let them know you've been down that road, and baby girl, don't sell yourself out for nothing like that. I don't care what's going on. And just to speak on, like, I've been watching you all, like, you know, after you get done, like watching you on YouTube, and there was something that was spoken about during breakups. When we break up with guys, we go do our own thing and we cut our hair and we change and we do this. I'm never changing what I do from the beginning, whether I'm with the guy or not with the guy. So if I want to go and do something, then I'm going to do, meaning I don't stop doing me because I'm in a relationship. I don't stop
Right.
building myself because
But
I'm in a relationship.
Ms. D,
But that
you're speaking with wisdom.
there
You
are
have
a lot of
wisdom.
women.
We're talking to these youngsters that's watching this. They don't have that wisdom yet. So you have to
Okay.
pass that on to them so they can,
Okay.
hopefully they'll receive it. Just plant the
Yeah.
seed. That's all I'm saying.
I
So
get it. You're right.
at the end of the day, if y'all had a classroom, I'm gonna go there. Y'all had a classroom of 30 people that were the age of 17 to 19. What is one thing that you would tell them about financial literacy that we talked about tonight? And I'll go through the panel. And I'm gonna start with, well, Tony, you were last. So I'm gonna start with Lanita.
In a classroom of 17 to 19-year-olds, I would tell them, I would teach them budgeting.
Okay.
Yep, I would teach them budgeting, breaking down their checks, savings versus whatever their responsibilities are. But I would definitely teach them budgeting so they can save for their future, rather if they're putting money up or whatnot. But some people save for some people live for today and some people save for tomorrow. And there needs to be a balance. And that's what a lot of people work their whole life and they only get to enjoy the last 11 years and then that's it. But definitely teaching them balance and how to save for tomorrow, but also how to live for today.
Okay. Tanya.
I would piggyback off of what Lonita said, you know, as far as budgeting, but also I would tell them also make sure you get your ass some life insurance because I'm not burying you.
Yes.
There you go.
Yes. Yes. And D, what would you tell?
I would teach them to, first of all, make your own coin. You can't budget what you don't have. Make your own coin. Take a trade, work a job, throw papers, do whatever it is that you have to do to get more than one stream of income at a young age. You can do it.
Right.
But keep going to school, but also make your own coin, because at that point, when you have your own, you're the judge and jury as far as what you do and where you go with it. But in that, I understand, I agree with Lanita too. Make a budget, you know, but first of all, make it. Don't make it and blow it. Make it, stack it, get you a budget, you know, and go from there.
Absolutely. Trav.
Was 17 to 19.
Yep. 17 to 19.
It would be kind of like a little speech, and the speech would be like this. You know what I'm saying? If as a male, if you and I change it, as a male, if you're not going to go to school, you should be working 60 hours a week nonstop. Period. It's no need as a man for you. You don't need a lot of downtime because it's just time to get in trouble. But I would also say, you know, if you're not going to go to school, go get a trade. If you're not going to do that, you need to be working nonstop, getting, you know what I mean, sharpening your skills. But also, man, ask questions every step of the way. Go find somebody. If somebody tells you no, go find another person and get the information. Every step of the way, ask questions. Because if you don't know and you make a negligent mistake that you can easily correct, that's worse than anything. Somebody could have told you, take that street. Don't take that street. That's what I would tell them. Don't just ask questions.
Right.
Ask somebody.
Yeah, I agree.
Tony.
I would say, I would tell these youngsters, credit is key. Learn about credit. Learn about how to get your credit score to where it needs to be. Understand that you can leverage your credit to be able to make money off of. If you have a good credit score, you can actually leverage that to make money off of. If you can't go there and get a loan for whatever amount of money because you don't have the money, your credit will get you everything you need to be. So if you want to be an entrepreneur, you can use that credit to leverage yourself to that point where you can actually be an entrepreneur. But even if you don't, just make sure you have good credit, because good credit at the end of the day If nothing else, it's going to save you money, because when you go to buy that car, you're going to get a good interest rate.
Low interest
If you
rate,
go
yeah.
buy a house, you're going to get a good interest rate. So if it doesn't do anything else, it's going to save you money. But credit, 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 credit. If you're a young person, understand how important credit is and understand how it's going to benefit you in your life from the time that you turn 18 to the time that you might turn 50 or 60 years old. Credit is going to help you out all the way. And if you have bad credit, it's going to hurt you. So that's going to be my thing. Just understand about credit, learn credit, and learn how much it's going to have an impact on your life to everything you're going to do. So that's what my advice would be.
I agree, y'all. And that's one thing that my mom always instilled in me is to keep your credit right tight and keep it 750 and above. All as a young child, as a, you know, when you start forming credit. Any kind
Yes.
of credit card y'all get, make sure you pay on the statement date, not the due date. That's what's gonna bump up your credit. Statement
Yes.
date, not due date. State
Yes.
date. It's usually around the 25th, the 21st, or the 10th. Check your credit cards on the statements. And then
Yes.
whatever money you make, always allow a percentage to your savings as a bill. Make that savings account a bill. If you're robbing Paul to pay Peter, whatever that saying is, Peter to pay Paul, y'all get a better job. No, I'm just playing. I love y'all. And on that note, until the next episode, we love y'all. Subscribe to L.U.S.T. Let Us Speak Truth on YouTube. And we are out of here, y'all. One love.
Peace.